How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What's good, YouTube? We back with another episode of what's the name of this podcast again?
Keeping Up with the Boys.
Keep it up with the boys. But as you see on top of Gerard head is posted right there. Keeping up with the boys.
Keeping
But
up
what your grade? What your thought of the Dallas Cowboys draft, man? What you grade first? What you grade them? If you
I
give
know,
giving them
right?
a grade, and then you can go in detail and talk about your dislikes or likes.
But see, when it come down to the draft, people give out these instant grades, but you really don't know how the draft class turned out into 3 or 4 years down the line. So just my early thoughts, it evolved. I would say day one, I was somewhat disappointed. I understood what the Cowboys did, but I was disappointed because they didn't pick the best player available, which I thought would have been Jermaine Johnson or even Tyler Lindenbaum. But the fact that they got a pass rusher in the second round that I was really coveted, that I really liked, ended up working to where it's like, okay, that combination of the players that they got really worked out for the good. Because if they would have got Jermaine Johnson in the first round and then they try to get a guard tackle in the second round, it wouldn't have been the same level. So the first rounder that we got, when you look at the film, it's a lot to be desired. But from what the understanding is, he's a big man, he's a strong man, he's a nasty man, and you can just teach him, have him technically sound, get him up to snuff. He could turn into be an all-pro or a decent player. So, and then we actually need somebody that's nasty in the middle because we know how we struggled against San Francisco last year. They dominated on both sides of the ball, I would say, the offense and defensive line. So it was good for us to get somebody that's big, strong, mean, and nasty from what the scouts have been saying and from what Jerry Jones and Will McClay have been saying. So the Cowboys, we can trust them in first round offensive linemen. They never did us wrong. A lot of Cowboy fans, when we drafted Travis Frederick back in the day, we was all disappointed. We was mad, like, man, they could have got him in the third. They could have got him in the third. And then he ended up being an all-pro for us. They hit on Zach Martin. We hit on Tyron Smith. So there's no reason for us not to trust the process.
Yeah,
So
just like Jerry said, he had him ranked as his next highest player. So I don't,
because you know what? I think what it is, though, I believe that they had him ranked pretty high, but they had another. I think they had Lewis Singh, which was a safety. They had him a first round grade, but they passed on the safety to get the tackle because it's the premium position is defensive end, tackle, and then your quarterback position. So I think they had the guards. I bet you if they would have had one of those guards that we mocked to them, if those guards would have been available, they would have took the guard just because they had that experience and they know what they got. But because the guards wasn't there, they went with a guy that's more versatile. He's going to be able to play guard and tackle. And that's why they didn't go with the center also, because the center was only going to be a center. And there was times in his film that he would get pushed back, even though I think Baltimore hit on them. And we're going to talk about Baltimore and the Jets later. But I think they had outstanding drafts. But the Cowboys draft, after I looked at what the combination of those two players, the fact that they got Tyler Smith, they got Sam Williams, I feel good about that. And then Jalen Tolbert, we talked about him, about his fantasy prospects. I like Jalen Tolbert. I looked at some film. I didn't know too much about the receiver, but when you look at him, a lot of people are saying he's not excellent in one area, but he's good in all areas. So kind of reminds you of the same type of attributes that Michael Gallup had. So I think he's going to be able to come in and fit into the system, and Dak can get him the ball. So I'm feeling good about our first 3 picks. And then we went and drafted a tackle that probably has some future prospects. You always got to go for those premium picks to tackle. Then later on we drafted.
Matter of fact, let me go through these picks right quick. Round
Okay.
1, Tyler Smith. Round 2, Sam Williams. Round 3, Jalen Tolbert. Round 4, Jake Ferguson. Round 5, Matt Wakusku, offensive tackle. Round 5, Darvin Bland, cornerback, round 5.
Mhm.
Damon Clark, linebacker, round 5. John Ridgway, round 6. Delvin Harper. I don't think you picked any of these players when we did the mock draft.
So how the mock went, the players that I wanted us to get, they was lone picks. So I mean, it was like that was the NFL snuffed out the players that I liked. They was long gone. So but I did have a feeling. Actually, Jerry Jones actually told us what they were going to do. I mean, they knew they were going to try to go for an offensive lineman, look like, and then Sam Williams, he got pictures of him out there with Sam Williams, and he said we need us another Michael Parsons. So that's what he thinks about Sam Williams. And Sam Williams is a unique athlete to where we're going to be able to do some unique things with him. I feel good about that situation. And Jalen Tolbert, they had Dak Prescott. He talked to him. He called him before the draft even started. So and then Robert Ferguson, he was a tight end that I feel like he was one of the better all around tight ends. Nothing special, but if you look at his attributes, if you look at his 40 time, his length, and how he is, he kind of reminds you of a Dalton Schultz as far as his stature. They play a little bit different, maybe, but he got great hands also. So it took a couple of years for Dalton Schultz to show what he is and to prove who he is now. So maybe it might take Ferguson a couple of years, but the guy can catch. He's a tight end. We needed a tight end, so feel good about that pick. Damon Clark. So Ridgeway is somebody that we need up front. So we got beat by San Francisco. So Ridgeway is a guy, Arkansas guy, Jerry Jones. They will hit it off pretty well, and they knew each other from the past. But this is a guy that we need. He's going to be a one technique, and we need a little more beef up front because that's why San Francisco was able to run the ball like they did down our throats that first drive. But if you got a guy like this and Bohanna and some other guys that we got that's developing, we shouldn't be getting ran over like how we got San Francisco. So that was a good quality. He's a quality player to get in the 5th round. And then Damon Clark, he wouldn't have been there. He had back surgery. And this is a player that would not have been there in the 5th round if he didn't have that surgery. He played in the Senior Bowl, and he wore number 18 at LSU. And if you know anything about wearing that number 18 at LSU, that means you are a team captain. That means you are a leader on and off the field. They don't just give that number to anybody. So that says a lot about him and his character, his football character. So he might have a red shirt year this year, but I'm expecting big things out of him. So that's going to be a good premium pick for us. So overall, when it was all said and done, I feel good about this draft. It was a needs draft for the Cowboys. We hit on a lot of needs. I would say we probably didn't get the best player in every round, but we got what we really need, and we'll be ready to play next year to win that NFC East. I say it put us in a good position to win the NFC East. Even though the Eagles got better, the Giants got better, and the Washington, they had a couple of good picks.
So the Cowboys also signed about 20 undrafted
20
free agents.
undrafted, yeah. Let's go through those. So those.
Well, I mean, I don't even, I, I can go over them, but I don't know most of them. Is Kate Bryant, edge from UCF, John John Thomas, safety from Georgia Tech, Amon Simon, offensive tackle out of Texas A&M, Aaron Champlin, running back out of Harvard, never heard of him. Isaac Taylor Strutt, cornerback out of
I remember that name. I've seen that name
USC.
around. Mm-hmm.
Alec Lindstorm, guard out of Boston College. Marquise Bell, safety out of FAMU. Dontario Drummond, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. LaKendrick Van Zerk, safety out of TCU. Aaron Hansford, linebacker out of Texas A&M. Ty Frugal, wide receiver out of Indiana. Jonathan Garibay, kicker out of Texas Tech. James eBay, offensive lineman out of BYU. Ja'Cory Robertson, wide receiver out of Wake Forest. Mike Tafu, linebacker out of Utah, Dennis Houston, wide receiver out of Western Illinois, never heard of him. Malik Davis, running back out of Florida, never heard of him. Story Jackson, linebacker out of Liberty, and Peyton Hendershot, tight end out of Indiana. I heard of him. So Peyton Hendershot, very very athletic, tight end. He wasn't that fast. He only ran a 4.8, but he had a 36-inch vertical and did one of the fastest short shuttle times for the tight end.
Yeah, so the ones that kind of stood out to me that everybody's been talking about, that Florida A&M Marquise Bell. From what I know about him, he ran like a 4.42. So he's a tall 6'2", 4.42 safety, and they had high hopes on him. Isaac Taylor Stewart, I hadn't really watched him play, but I've seen USC play. I just seen that name. It kind of stood out to me. Boston College, when I look at Alec Lindstrom, I know he has a lot of family members that played in the pros before, so it's in his bloodline. But it's a center is a position that we may need to upgrade. So that'll be a good thing to see if he can challenge. And he's also out of Boston College, so he must be a smart guy. So that's all I got to say about them. These free agency Cowboys actually do a pretty good job on picking up a few undrafted free agents that have helped this team. So Miles Austin, Tony Romo. So we'll see a couple of them stand out and have a
Tony
couple of.
Romo was undrafted.
Tony Romo was undrafted.
I didn't know that. You didn't. You be trying to defend that undrafted man to your core.
Tony Romo was a Cowboy all
Y'all be
time.
getting these discount quarterbacks. Y'all be getting these discount quarterbacks. Jeez.
You gotta have respect for a man that was not drafted. He took Drew Bledsoe's spot. Bill Parcells put him in there, and then it was like I respect Tony Romo because this is what it is with me. I remember we had Troy Aikman. That's my quarterback. That's when we was at the top of the mountain. And then when we lost Troy Aikman, I know what it's like to not have a quarterback on you. Like when your team don't have a quarterback, you feel hopeless. Like that was we was in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? Like we was in the desert. like that's just like you just hoping and searching for the quarter. It's not a good place to be when you love your team. And then when Tony Romo finally stabilized that position, it was a breath of fresh air to me. That's why I like him so much. Yeah, because it's hard to get a quarterback. So when Dak, when he fell in our lap and how he's developed, man, I got no respect for him too.
Y'all threw Tony Romo to the side so quick. I've never seen this. I didn't even feel like Tony Romo left his prime. I just felt like he got tossed to the side.
He did. He still had a couple of years in him. I don't know if he would have stayed healthy. I guess that was the thing. But when the TV network offer you once in a lifetime chance to be he had never commentated before, and when he got the number one spot, wow, and he does a good job too. So you almost couldn't pass it up. He had a couple of years left in him though.
You act like that. You act like he, Jerry Jones wasn't gonna let him go to another team anyway. That's what I heard.
No. It was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I don't know what that was all about. I think they was actually I think he was helping him negotiate the contract with CBS. I think the Texans would have picked him up if he.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it seemed like he didn't want him to go, to another team. Like, that's why I was hearing the rumors like they wasn't gonna let him out the contract unless he go to take that deal with the thing. It wasn't gonna let him out the contract to just go to another team. Something like that's what I was hearing.
You didn't want him to go to the NFC East. You didn't want him to play for the Redskins. I know John said you didn't want him to go to no team in the East. And then the Texans, they had a pretty decent squad. So if he would have went over there, he could have probably made a difference, and that would have been a slap in the face to. That would have been hard to take.
And it wouldn't have been another Texas team. So I can't see the Jerry Jones wanting that to happen.
I don't think he could have stopped that from happening if he would have released him. He had too much money
That's
on the
why he
board.
didn't want to release him.
No, I mean, he wasn't gonna pay him. Like if he wasn't playing quarterback, they was gonna have to release him at some point in time.
What you mean? You can have him playing backup. It's
No,
kind of
no,
like what's going on in 49ers. They don't have to release Garoppolo.
the money he was making, and then also that pressure behind Dak. I would. Well, these are NFL. Like on Madden, that's
Yeah, I'm
cool.
about to say you talking about pressure, but they put Dak in for
I know
how much pressure he under? You got picked over him.
he did his thing, huh? So the Cowboys, we've been fortunate to have two good quarterbacks back to back like that. I know Colin Cowherd, he get on there and trash and Dak and say, but this is the thing about it. This is what I was just talking to my cousin earlier. Okay, Dak did not play his best game in the playoffs, but it's a team sport. And also, offensive line got dominated or D line got dominated. That's when we lost the game in the trenches. You always win and lose in the trenches. Then you had the next 49ers the next week. They go to Green Bay. We scored more points than Green Bay, but nobody don't have a criticism on. They kind of criticize Aaron Rodgers, but they still respect Aaron Rodgers. But it's all Dak's fault when we lose. But Aaron Rodgers, what?
because
So
because the organization do not be putting offensive talent around him like they should. They really don't. No,
you had Devontae Adams. I mean,
okay, not next. Talk about the receivers.
Randall Cobb is somebody he lobbied for them to
He
come
really
back.
gonna earn his money.
And Randall Cobb, like the Packers had let Randall Cobb go, right? He came to the Cowboys. He was serviceable, and he went to the Texans and was serviceable. He wasn't at the end of his rope. So
What it got to do with it? You don't think this Cobb not that at the end of this rope? This Cobb right here, that they got right now.
He is what he is. I mean, I think he ended up being hurt. Maybe that's the problem anyway. Because he made some play. Aaron Rodgers got to trust you, so he don't even pass you the ball unless you trust you.
Yeah,
So.
he a different cat.
Lazard don't seem too bad of a receiver. Come on,
Man, you wanna know when he was drafted?
But I remember, they drafted what? Inikia St. Brown. They drafted him right. He had all this athletic ability. But
Well, he be doing some weird stuff, so he ain't getting the circle of trust. He on some weird stuff. Talking about he don't stretch or whatever. He refused to play special teams. He don't stretch. And like he be on some weird stuff.
And his brother doing pretty good. His brother playing for Detroit.
Yeah. And his brother, even though they draft on Jay Will, he's not really going to interfere with what his brother do. So his brother probably continue to produce.
Yeah. Okay, so they got Christian Watson. So we'll see what happens. But overall,
he better get in a circle of trust real quick. You know who I seen get out, and now this on the Buccaneers. This dude, I've never seen a dude miss an opportunity like this guy. What's his name? I know his last name Vaughn. I can't remember his last name. He's the running back on the Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, I know Vaughn. Yeah, well, I don't know.
So when Vaughn was drafted, he didn't even go to the secret workouts he was having.
Oh,
I say, how dare you? What are you not thinking? That's like, the first thing I'd be trying to do. I'm like, oh, they have a secret. Oh, I'm getting there. Where? I need to know where that's at. I'm getting in the circle of trust. And you never heard from that man again. He got drafted and set the bench.
He played at the end of the season, right? He played at the end.
He played a little bit, but
because he had to.
It's just like, this is an opportunity, man. Why wouldn't you want to take full advantage of it? I don't know what these cats be thinking. It's just like I don't think a lot of these cats, even though who knows, they might not have the money for it, but you're really supposed to go through your agent. But why are you not training for this 40 for this draft? Like I know cats that I know fast, but it seems like they go out there and think they're gonna just run a good 40. Like you're not training for this. You can end up non-drafted real quick with a bad 40.
Real quick, especially if you're not working on your craft at that point. You just you just dreaming.
it would be easier for you to go out there and refuse to run a 40 than go out there and run a bad one. So
A lot of dudes don't run 40s. Is it London Drake, right? He been
yeah,
running. And I want everybody wants to know what his 40 was, but it would have hurt him. I think it would have hurt him.
it probably would have, because he wasn't gonna run fast.
He wasn't going to go fast, and he ended up being the number one receiver picked in the draft.
Yeah.
So that is So what you got on some fantasy football prospects? Anybody stand out what team they're going to?
Well, you see, I was on. I've been saying for like a month. The only team I'm willing to bet on for a quarterback is Pittsburgh, and that's the only team that drafted a quarterback in the first round.
Yep.
With all this talk, because people been trying to put Malik Willis as the number one quarterback for the longest, and I've been telling you from the get go. Even when you said you didn't see nothing special in Pickett, I've been telling that's my number one. I've been saying that for the longest, and Pickett ended up being the only first rounder because he's the only one I looked at, and I was like, oh, he looked like he fit in the league right now. He's the only quarterback I looked at. Now, they had people like Desmond Ritter, who I saw with attributes that I like, but I needed him to get the first round draft capital to solidify that, okay, cool, they're going to work with him. And, Willis going to have the running upside's crazy if he ever, start or whatever. But if, good luck, figuring out when, But and I wasn't high on Matt Carroll at all, and he ended up being a fourth quarterback off the board. I was surprised that Sam Howell dropped so far, because he's young, and I thought he was trying to carry his team in college. So I was surprised at that one. So it seemed like the only fantasy relevant quarterback for a minute until maybe somebody get hurt. It's gonna be Pickett. Ritter might get a chance, and Mariota wet the bed. I don't know. I don't think Malik Willis gonna get a chance unless one old boy get injured or they just move forward from him. He gonna be the one to be go sitting for a while. Matter of fact, he might be the last one you see. You might see all the other ones before you see him, because everybody else got somebody shaky in front of them. Sam Howell went to the Commanders. He got Wentz in front of him.
So this
Matt
was
Carroll.
a rumor. This was a rumor out there. Somebody was saying the Washington Redskins, they were like, they don't know why they traded up, but they feel like they was trying to get in front of the Cowboys because they feel like the Cowboys would have drafted a quarterback, Sam Howell, in the 5th round. I don't know why. They probably just wanted to say, how the media is, just want to talk about the Cowboys, but they said that's why the Washington Commanders traded up to get him. That'd have been real interesting. They needed a quarterback though to challenge Carson Wentz though.
Yep. And so they decided to sit Carson Wentz. He'll be sitting there. This is Fitzpatrick still on the team? I don't even know what yet. I haven't heard from that man.
I don't know. You're right. I suppose so. I don't know. I hadn't heard he got signed by anybody else. He's either a free agent or still on that team.
Now with the running backs, Brees Hall, he will go and take over that backfield, and the Jets. Kenneth Walker went to probably one of the worst situations he can go to. Like I would have damn near rather him behind Jonathan Taylor than be on here. It's two places I don't want to see you go. I don't want to see a running back go to the Seahawks or the Patriots. Now we're gonna play guess. Guess which running back gonna play. You
like Perry. So you like Perry, and the Seahawks do run the ball. Like
they're gonna run the ball, but who said he might not ever see until Penny go away or Penny get injured. And that's if Chris Carson out of there. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but how they love them some Chris Carson. But
interesting.
That was the
you might have a handcuff. I would say for fantasy football purposes, you might want to handcuff those two But I think it's good to have them on, the option because Seattle do like to run the ball, and I like Chris Carson. I always like Chris Carson as a running back in fantasy. It's just that because I know they're gonna give him the ball. He runs hard.
You
And
know, I'm so
Kendall
done with
Walker,
Chris Carson. The one year I gave him a chance, he disappointed me. I'm
yeah,
never,
yeah, yeah,
never again.
he got
I
hurt.
might as well have a T-shirt. Never again, Carson.
So yeah, since he injury prone now, he's a running back. He might fall off the map. But that's why they
He,
got Kendall
he
Walker.
might not play again though. He might not play again.
And then
That
Kendall
that
Walker.
kind of draft capital they got
Yeah,
him
when
with,
you
they got
sign,
they got him for a purpose.
if they sign Perry to 1 year, that means they're not serious about him though. They just got him just for insurance purposes. You know, if
Um,
they need him, they'll pull him out. But that's not nobody they investing in. So
James Cook went to the Bills. James Cook pretty good. He's not no 3 down back though, so
yeah,
we'll see how that go.
but that's
Um,
like with Singletary and Moss. That's
but
gonna
he
be
the best back on that in the backfield
he
though.
the best back, and then his game breaking ability. Like the Bills, you better watch out. Like I mean, they were just a couple of players away from getting to the Super Bowl this year anyway. So
hmm
then
Um,
they drafted a good corner too.
People real excited about Rashard White because he reminded them of David Johnson, has supreme
I heard
catching ability, and so he's behind Fournette. So whenever Fournette move on, you'll get to see him unless Fournette get injured. But he ain't taking
that's the
Fournette
guy from
job.
Arizona. He's number 3, right? Well, you probably just what I saw his highlights. I didn't really study him before, but I like that dude. I like the way he ran. I like the way he runs. Like and David Johnson was the real deal when he early in his career. So
Like I said, that man had one good season, and people still remember that like that man was the fantasy back for a few
no,
years. He had one
he
good
had 2
season.
years. Two. He didn't
That
have 2
man
good
had
years.
one good season. Second season, he got injured. I think he might have started off good and got injured, and you never heard from that man again.
Never heard from him. Yeah. I remember seeing him in the senior, but I remember why I was wondering like why he wasn't drafted higher. But I guess that's when they were devaluing running backs anyway. No, when he was, yeah, you're right. He only probably had like 1.5 good years, but he was looking impressive. I'm like, man, yeah, he felt.
Terran Davis Price, I liked him out of LSU. He went to the
Mm.
49ers in the third
Yeah.
round. That was a very surprising pick because the type of
49ers?
backs they get, yeah, for 49ers,
Hmm.
the type of backs they get, they usually get, either super fast backs or very people that can hit that hole real quick. This is
Yeah.
not a 49er pick. This surprised me,
Because
so
when he got his 40 time, what was his 40 time?
448 for his size. That's great.
Yeah,
For his
yeah.
size, he's 6 foot two
I mean, I didn't really
nineteen. He's a big boy.
I know I saw the highlights of him. He was a big boy. I didn't really watch too many LSU games this year, but I know normally LSU will have some good backs. But wow,
But
he
he
ran
run
four.
like he run like a battering ram though. That's not the it's not
That's
the
a different.
49ers way.
Well, but that's something they might need. And
But it makes me wonder what they're trying to do because this he was PFF best graded pass blocker.
mm,
Out of the running backs. So I don't know. If they got that in mind, they want him to more so do pass
if you,
blocking or what.
somebody like him, if you have him on third downs, and like it don't seem like yeah, you can protect the quarterback. They got to protect Trey Lance if he's gonna be the starter. And it seems like he can run the ball. He'll tote that ball. So yeah, he a big dude. I see how big he is. So if he make one cut and they open up a hole for him, there's gonna be some trouble.
Now with Brian Robinson, I didn't understand that with the Commanders. I guess they trying to ease on Gibson's workload because you drafted Brian Robinson in the third round. So I
In the
mean,
third
he go
round.
play. You
Wow,
know,
third
they
round.
gave McKissick some money. They drafted him. So I guess it's gonna be a three-headed monster.
I think so, man. I guess he different type because I think that was the thing about Gibson. They want him to run harder and stronger because he got it in. He's a big dude. He's fast, but he played wide receiver in college, so maybe they just need somebody that can get them short yardage on third downs. But that third round pick, wow.
Damon Pierce went 402 to the Texans. So
Uh oh.
he don't have stiff competition in the backfield. unless you think Marlon Mack to beat him out. Only other person you got to beat out is Burkhead. You know, so
But I didn't know I
uh,
think we talked about that. The Texans signed Marlon Mack. That's a pretty good pickup. I think that's an underrated
well, we
signing.
haven't seen Marlon Mack since his injury really do much. So
That's true. But Pierce is that'd be a good complementary uh, two-headed backfield. Yeah.
now Pierce disappointed me with his three cone on time, and from the time he put on three cone is not what I've seen on the tape. Like I put in his notes, good at
Yeah,
changing directions
he
on the
is
drop of a dime. So
because
when he put up a three cone on a 7.53, I was like, what the hell? Like
maybe he's
what's he
because
doing?
if you look at the way he run, he pitter patter his feet. Like he got real, like he keep his feet low to the ground. Like he don't like pick up his feet. So it do seem like he could change directions real quick in and out. But that's surprising that he had a bad three cone. I would say go by the game film than that because maybe it's just mental or I don't know. It's more about what he does on the field than a three cone because he is the type of person he does change directions pretty good in a short area and he looks pretty powerful too. Pretty
Yeah, I
attractive.
did put strong on his notes. Zamir White went to the Raiders, so it's fourth round draft capital, but um, that might be a stash, definitely a handcuff because they did not pick up the option on Jacobs.
He did
So
not pick up the option.
so it's real interesting
Yeah.
what they go decide to
Jacob
go
will
after this
follow
year.
back. He's not a speedster, you know what I'm saying? He's not. He's almost probably like Pierce, the guy we just talking about. Like, he just runs hard. He catches the ball well, but it's nothing just special about him. I like his intangibles. I like the way he runs. I like his intensity, but there's nothing special as far as game breaking about his ability. You know.
Isaiah Spiller went to the Chargers, so
That was
maybe
surprising, and he might
you
end up being.
know.
He gonna be a starter, watch. Well, you know, he
So a lot of people were drafting Ekta in the top three backs this year
yeah.
because of how well he did last year, and that makes you wonder, like, are they trying to take touches away from him? I don't think he's going to, get the job over Eckler, but that's saying something to me.
I
You
don't think.
know,
Well, I think they're gonna use them interchangeably. I mean, they're gonna use them in different ways. But Isaiah Spiller, man, I'm surprised he fell the way he fell, and I don't know why he fell like that. But he was always on the radar of a lot of draft analysts. They had him as a third-rated back. I think. I like him. I think. What did he run in his 40? What was his 40 time?
he had a slow 40, 4.68.
That's what hurt him. But
I
yeah,
think I added the point
the
point
point.
zero five on there. So
Okay.
I think he ran a 4.63 at the pro there.
Yeah, that's the scouts overlooking his talent because he ran a slow 40 time.
Next, the number 10th RB off the board was Pierre Strong. Surprising pick by the Patriots. Of course, just to add to their back, I thought he would have been a perfect fit for like San Fran. Patriots surprised me and picked him up, and
Pierre
he's a,
Strong, where is he from? Where's he?
he's from South Dakota. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I don't know too
ran a
much.
4.37. So they added
Oh
explosiveness
yeah,
definitely, to the team because not only did they draft him, they drafted Thornton on the fastest wide receiver in the draft. So I guess
yeah,
that they're trying to add some explosiveness to the offense.
yeah. That's what they're looking for, speed. Yeah, I have to go look at his film, see what I think about him. Wow. But we're not gonna draft no New England Patriot running back anyway in the fantasy football draft.
So we'll go to the top 10 wideouts.
Mm.
So Drake went off the board first, then went to the Falcons. So I'm liking that because it's just gonna
What
be
they
him
do?
and Pitts soaking up the targets.
Can the
We
quarterback get him the
we only
ball?
can hold Mario and get the ball to him. It's gonna be hard to mix this 6'4" man, this big man, But
I think it's gonna work, man. I think it's gonna work. They cut the running back, so
who?
um
Mike Davis.
Mike Davis, yeah.
Hmm.
I know they drafted it. Wait a minute, what running back they draft? I know we talked about the top 10 back. They
Farther
drafted.
down. They drafted Tyler Algier.
Tyler
Fifth
Algier.
round,
Okay. Yeah.
8th pick.
Yeah, he was on my radar. He was a strong running back, potential. So, I think he was a Mike Davis. Yeah, he probably better than Mike Davis, really. So bring in Algiers and out Mike Davis. So that's about right.
Second wide receiver off the ball was Jared Wilson. Went to the Jets, so we'll see. Zach Wilson, we'll see what you're going to do with your new weapons. You
And the
know,
Jets is loaded, man.
eyes would definitely be on Zach Wilson this year.
2 years from now, man, the Jets, if these players turn out like they supposed to, they're going to be making some noise.
Chris Olave went to the Saints. You know, I like Olave, but Saints paid a lot to get him. So we'll see how that go. I don't know if Mike Thomas going to play or not. We've been waiting for Mike Thomas for like 2 years.
Yeah, they gave up a lot to go up there and get him. He probably deserved to be picked in that spot, but wow.
Jameson Williams went to the Lions. I think he's going to be a perfect fit in that offense, field structure, whenever he do come back. Jahan Dotson went to the Commanders. I don't know how he's going to fit with Wentz. He should fit fine because he's able to separate on the field. So he should fit fine with Wentz. But, Wentz has, been disappointing at times. So.
I mean, he got 2 receivers, though. Probably 2 of the better receivers he ever had, McLaurin and Williams. So
we got Trey Burks going to the Titans, taking the spot of A.J. Brown since he was traded. Brown. So we'll see we'll see if they try to make sure to use Treylon Burks right. Make sure they try to dump him off short passes, kind of create offense.
Pretty much like how they use A.J. Brown, right? Pretty much. Yeah, so, I mean, slot kind of receiver.
I just drafted him in a rookie draft at the 104. So, I figured Kenneth Walker just went off the board 103. So I figured I might as well draft him because I'm not going to get too many of these picks. Most of my picks farther down in the rookie draft. So I was like, I'll draft him. Might as well.
But tell me this. Name another Tennessee Titan receiver.
Robert Woods.
Oh yeah, they did pick up Robert Woods.
The 7th quarterback off the board, that 6 of them went in the first round. So that was something. 7th quarterback off the board was Christian Watson, and he went to the Packers. He was comped to MVS, so that means they got their replacement of MVS.
But they ain't got no Devontae Adams replacement, but they got MVS. You know what?
Lazard supposed to be Devontae Adams, right?
Man, you know what? I was thinking about Odell Beckham. I was thinking about the teams he got. I mean, to me,
he is still out there. There's a couple people out. Julio Jones still out there.
Yeah, Julio Jones really disappointed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
He might be
done. I'm a big Julio Jones fan. That dude's the truth when he was in his prime. But oh my goodness,
But he's still out there. Odell Beckham.
He actually
Julio Jones.
Good.
Yeah. Landry.
I'm not the biggest fan, but I still like. I would go.
Watson went to the Packers. Watson got signed by the Packers though. Sammy, your boy. You love.
He got signed. I was thinking about. So when did he get signed?
A while back ago. A few weeks ago.
Man, I was okay. I was thinking the Cowboys. I was like, man, we do need to kind of still need to get one of these free agent wide receivers, maybe. If you can get them for 1 year on the cheap, like Odell Beckham or Julio Jones, but I was thinking about Sammy Watkins myself, and he already got signed. Okay.
A surprise pick at the being a running back, the wide receiver 8 off the board was Wandale Robinson to the Giants. In the 2nd round, the 5'8", 178.
I guess that Shepard spot. I mean, and you know what's crazy? I think Kadonius
Tony's still there.
Tony,
I was thinking taking Kadonius Terrace. What is his name? Kadarius Tony's spot because they're trying to trade him.
They're trying to trade him, right? Yeah, they're trying to trade him. What man? He must got some issues going on.
Bruh, he got to be a knucklehead. You
Gotta be
know, this the thing. This the second time they said he didn't show up for like spring practice, something like that. That happened when they first drafted him.
I
Like,
mean,
you know, you
I mean,
injury prone and you doing knucklehead stuff. He's not gonna be in the league long. He's not gonna
and
be
you
in the
playing
league long.
you in that New York market, man. Let's see what the Cowboys can do with. And we need a slot. We need a slot. You're talented too. You're
Y'all ain't
talented.
gonna trade for him though.
No,
But and even if they released them, look, y'all too far down the total pole to even be able to put in a waiver claim unless other teams just scared to touch him.
he got to be a knucklehead if they release him. Like he gotta.
I don't think they want to go into the season with that man still on the roster. You know, um, John Mechie went to the Texans, so I know you know like him. So seemed like a decent spot. I'm not that high on David Mills as the other people, but we'll see how it go.
You said John Mechie.
Yeah, John Mechie from Alabama. You said you
Oh
like
yeah,
him.
yeah. The third. Yeah, okay, yeah. You say yeah. He quick. He can get in and out of his breaks. He can catch the ball. Yeah, I like that.
Number 10, and that's another surprising pick. Really, an overdrive. I don't know. I don't really know what is the system. I'm curious behind the scenes what be going on with the Patriots because they picked Tywan Thor
From Baylor.
um, from Baylor in the second round. This man probably would have went drafted maybe the fourth or fifth round if they wouldn't have picked him. But they made sure they get him the fastest wide receiver in the
You
draft.
see his highlights? What you think about his tape? 'Cause I guess he
I didn't
fast.
think about nothing special. I mean, on tape you could tell he's fast. 4-star recruit, fast, can get some yak. That's all I had. Like ain't nothing stood out. He ran a 4.28, so he was blazing.
Well, you can't
He
teach
was
that. So
blazing.
maybe the flaws that he had in this game is the
He had
deficiency.
letter. He sub 200 pounds though. He 181, 6'2",
180.
181.
Man,
But the man did jumped a 36.5 vertical, did a 130 broad. That's all them boys got at Baylor though. Athletes. Every time somebody running Baylor, they running a fast 40.
they do. They do. That's
Like
that.
I've never watched Baylor play, but it must be fun to watch the offense.
Maybe what has been, yeah. Maybe they didn't. I know his stats didn't look all that great. Maybe it was because the quarterback didn't get him the ball like they're supposed to. I don't know.
I'll go down to the 13th spot and name the rest of the people. Wide receivers I was taking in the second round. George Pickens to the Steelers. Great pick to the Steelers. They did have an article come out on a bunch of rumors, down in Pickens. So he dropped in the draft and Steelers get a steal.
Why they said they was down on Pickens?
I was looking for that article. I
Well,
I, I didn't I couldn't find it. I
I
didn't
know
see
they
it.
said some immaturity issues.
Well, believe me, if he can't make it with the Steelers, he won't be in the league long. The Steelers,
Yeah, they
anybody
put
that they had to let go,
some knucklehead.
Brian, wasn't it on Materials? Brian, they
Oh
had to let go,
yeah, they did it. Yeah,
and then Antonio Brown. Anybody they have to let go, they're not gonna be in the league long.
yeah. No, I like Pickens though. Let's see.
You got Alex Pierce that went to the Colts, so
Alex
we'll
Pierce.
see how that go. And my man Sky Moore went to the Chiefs.
That's man. That just sounds right. That just seems right.
Oh yeah, because he kept being mocked there, but he was being mocked there like first round at the end of the
First
first and
round,
then
right?
at the beginning of the second. They kept mocking him there. So it was cool that, he went to that spot, So it was
Man,
up.
so that guy, he might be he might be the offensive rookie. No, it's either gonna be him or
I don't know how much playing time he gonna got because they got Juju there. So he ain't gonna just go there and dominate like that.
Brees Hall. Probably probably Vegas favorite, right? Brees Hall.
I,
Um,
you should look and see who the favorite.
Actually, this is what it is. This is just DraftKings Nation. They saying the favorite is actually Drake London, Kenny Pickett number 2, Traylon Burks number 3, Brees Hall, and Traylon Burks
See, those make four. Makes
3.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so that's the all the wide receivers picked in the top 2 rounds. Tight ends. I guess we can go over what the top 10. Yeah, we're gonna go over the top 10. Trey McBride, the number one, best one. He
It
in a
was
tier
only
of his
10
own.
qualified tight ends, probably, but Trey McBride number 1. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
number one, I told you a whole bunch was drafted.
Yeah.
19 tight ends was drafted.
19. Wow. 19.
19. Surprised me. So, but Trey
People
McBride to
get
the Cardinals.
Who's that?
Trey McBride to the Cardinals, so he get the learn
Yeah,
from
Zach Ertz,
Ertz.
though. That's what I was like. Because tight ends were falling, and it was like, okay, the Cardinals
Well,
don't
you
like
definitely don't want to get a rookie tight end to be your starter. They had the only that transcendent player last year was able to do that. You'd be asking for a lot. But another rookie tight end that produced last year that people that go under the radar.
Pat Fernet.
He did too. But I'm talking about Brevin Jordan.
Oh,
Brevin Jordan produced some too. And he was drafted in like the 5th round. So that surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2 tight end off the board that you wanted on your team, but he went way too high. Well, he ain't go that high. He went in the 3rd round, 309. Jelani Woods. Colts got a good deal on him.
When I had him pick, I had mocked him. It was like it was later though.
Yeah, he was knocking him later. Now he has a chance. He has a chance to go up that depth chart. He don't have nobody really in his way. He got like a dude, I think Grayson, Grayson, and then there's another black tight end that supposed to be Mo Alley Cox.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he got that much competition. He's still raw though, so you probably not gonna hear from him next year. Or this year, I mean.
That's who they say. That's who we comp to, I think. Cox. Mm-hmm.
3rd tight end off the board, Greg Dosage. He was my 2nd ranked tight end. And he went to the Broncos to replace them losing Fant.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4th tight end off the board was Jeremy Ruckert. He went to the Jets.
That's why I covered the most. And the Jets, man, the Jets and Baltimore Ravens picked up a lot of the players that I felt like a great player. But man, Jeremy Ruckert, yeah. He was my number. Well, kind of, I know you got Trey McBride, but I thought the Cowboys put around. I thought he would slip. And I thought we could get Jeremy Ruckert, but didn't happen.
Cade Iden went to the Bucks. He's a blocking tight end. So, he'll help with blocking. Daniel Bellinger went to the Giants. I didn't do no work on him. The 7th tight end of the board is
I heard he had a nice game. I got to do some homework on him too.
Yeah, I didn't do any homework on him. 2-star recruit. I know he went to the Shrine Bowl, but I honestly had him so far down. I didn't think he was gonna be drafted. Surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think he was gonna be drafted that high. But 7th tight end of the board is Charlie Collard. He good. He went to the Ravens. And then the Ravens right after the Cowboys, went back in the 4th round again and grabbed another tight end, Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
So the Ravens not playing. I guess they ain't gonna try to, that's what isn't that what they did with Mark Andrews and Host?
Because actually it was Hayden Hurst.
What's that dude name? Hurst, yeah. They drafted them 2 in that draft. So they're like, look, one of y'all gonna hit.
One of y'all gonna work out. You know, Lamar Jackson, like, bro, he can throw them. He can throw them digs, them underneath routes. So he do a good
And
job
I
with that.
like both of them tight ends. So, hey, but in between that, Jake Ferguson went to the Cowboys.
Jake
So,
Ferguson,
I liked him a little bit. He stood out in the Senior Bowl week.
Senior Bowl. I
You
know he
know,
got a
I
touchdown
just,
in the Senior Bowl, and
huh?
I know he got a touchdown in the Senior Bowl, and I heard he caught everything during that week.
Mm.
He got
He
he went crazy.
he ran a 4.81, so he lost favor with me. He took a ding, just like Isaiah Likely, took a ding with me,
When you a
running a
big
score.
man, when you that big and you run a 4.8, people don't understand that. In my, people get all excited about 4.5. 4.8 is fast. Like 4.8, like that's a fast human being. You
Well,
got more speed. When you run a 4.8, you really running. Like you ain't slow. Believe it or
and don't
not.
get it twisted. These going to be serviceable tight ends, but I'm talking about um, tight ends that's going to be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
I've done stats on that who are more likely to succeed. I need you to give me a 4.76. If
All
you
right.
can't run that, it's a good chance you're not going to succeed as a viable fantasy tight end. You
Yeah.
barely have them in the first place, so don't get that twisted. If you don't grab one of the top elite tight ends, it really don't matter who you draft. At the end of the day, it really
You
don't.
gotta just it's rolling the dice on which game who they playing. Yeah.
So, and the number 10 tight end off the board, which I knew he was going to get drafted somewhere. Somebody had to get tantalizing by his speed because he ran the fastest 40 out the tight end with a 4.52, and that's Okuna. I'm not going to
Oh
try to
yeah.
pronounce his whole
You
name.
got a Missouri?
Okunkwa or something like that.
What
Huh?
college?
He went to Maryland.
Maryland.
So he
Okay.
ended up getting drafted by the Titans at the fourth round, 38 pick. He's 6'3", 238.
Hmm.
So I know when he ran that 40, I looked at his height, like, oh, he gonna get drafted somewhere.
You gonna get drafted right there.
If he was like 6 foot and like that you more so of a fullback than a tight end, but 6'3", I mean that's still short because he more so 6'2.5", and they give him the 6'3", so it's still short. But if they utilize him right, he could do something.
What you think about James Mitchell? You know about James Mitchell?
James Mitchell was
With
drafted to the Lions, fifth
Virginia.
round, 4-star recruit. Didn't do any athletic testing because he had a season injury. I
Yeah.
don't really have nothing on him.
So this guy, this probably is a sleeper. It's a fantasy sleeper. If you go back and watch it, you be probably impressed. But see, that guys they already got a tight end in Detroit, but this guy he is has a pretty good tape. I thought he ran hard, you know, made some good plays, but he got injured though, so
Mm.
that's why he failed.
Like I said, I'm surprised 19 tight ends drafted. I'm really surprised that many. Like, after a while, I stopped doing tape on tight ends because really it's hard to extract and see how good a tight end will be, especially if you're
Yeah.
looking at a bunch of blocking tight ends. It's horrible to sit there and watch tight end
Right.
tape.
Well, now at the end of the day, I mean, people need tight ends. Tight ends, like that's what I'm saying. To find a guy that's big and strong and can run, can catch, do all that. Those are like unicorns. You don't really find those. So when you can get somebody that's serviceable and can play, you do gotta draft them, and then you gotta develop them. That's the whole thing. Teams gotta develop it, but they don't. It's the pros. They don't do too much. Probably they don't spend too much time. I think trying to develop tight ends as they would like to.
Now, if I was going to talk about any sleepers at the tight end position, it was the 11 tight end drafted off the board. His name is Cole Turner. I really like him. He went to the Commanders. There was another tight end, Grant Calcaterra. He went to the Eagles. I like him. Good receiving skills, but thing about him, he do have a serious concussion history, like to the point where he retired. Then he ended up coming back, to college. Then they had one that your boy went undrafted.
Who's that?
Watermeyer went undrafted.
Yes, that's a shock. Like it must be something in his past or history that tells
Yeah, I
me.
think it's something with his attitude. I heard rumors about his work ethics. So
Yeah, because I mean, wow. I wouldn't. I mean, 7th round. Come on, he's good enough to be drafted.
uh, two
I
more
know.
sleepers. Rodney Williams. Nobody know about him, but he went undrafted. He played for Tennessee Martin, but he ran probably the second fastest 40 out the tight end. So but he went to one of these lower level schools, so nobody know. I couldn't even find film on him.
You could.
Couldn't find film on him.
He just ran.
Another guy is Derek Dice Jr. He went to San Jose. Bless you. He ran a slow 40. He's disappointing me because I like this tape. He got Yak on tape. Great hands. Was a John Mackey semifinalist.
Mm.
Had the PFF best blocking and receiving combo grade. So he disappointed me so much when he went and ran that slow 40. He ran like a 4.93, bro. Like he disappointed me so much
Now you
because
running with Marley.
he was like a 0-star recruit. You wasn't on nobody's radar. Then you went and ran that slow 40. I'm like, I knew he wasn't gonna be drafted when I saw that.
Get it to the
But
4.8.
his film looked good though. So he went to the Lions.
Man, the Lions.
Yeah, Lions like their tight ends.
They're trying to get them some tight ends.
and they got Hawkinson. Then they got another dude called I know his last name Brock White, Brock Wright or Wright Brock. I think Brock Wright. He produced last year when Hawkinson was out. So them boys not ever gonna see the field.
Oh man, they coaches, the head coaches are former tight end Campbell. So.
My boy, he went undrafted on Justin Ross, but he did
Oh,
get signed by the Chiefs.
he got signed by the Chiefs.
Yeah, baby. Hopefully he
Let's
make the
hope for
team,
him.
man. I'm rooting for him.
Man, yeah, I was wondering why because he didn't sign till late. I was like checking my the internet and my phone trying to see who he got signed with. It never did tell me. So that's I can see him making that team, man.
I hope he do, man. Yeah, because I saw him. I saw his Twitter. He was just like, dang, he was down. He was upset.
Yeah. What was he underclassman too? Or was he senior this year? Like, cause I remember
Nah, he was a senior year.
he was senior. Wow, man, that's unfortunate. His career. I wonder was he faster before he had that injury?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he was. Had to be.
Cause I seen him run away from the guys in Alabama. You're right. Like I seen him run away, and then
Now I'm gonna be honest. I never seen um separation on a field like that. Like I seen the looseness though. I
yeah.
did. I seen speed. I seen the looseness.
Not in.
Like I said,
I'm talking about that's probably early in his career, but like in his senior season, you probably didn't
nah,
separate it.
I ain't seen that.
Yeah.
And he was dealing with a stress fracture too. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we don't know. Like I said, we'll find out. I hope the man make it.
I would have took a chance on him.
He had to. And I was on Twitter telling them I was like, I need you to go somewhere, that you can you can actually work your way up the depth chart. I mean, I guess you want to ride to a championship because I would have picked somewhere like Falcons or Packers, somewhere you can find your way up the
The
depth chart.
Cowboys.
Not the Chiefs. You're not finding your way up the Cowboys depth chart. Stop it.
You don't think we need a receiver?
I don't think he's gonna work his way up that depth chart. Y'all receivers pretty.
ACL. No, he might be out for the first 6 weeks of the season. No, ACL. You got
James Washington.
Huh? James
Washington.
We'll see. We will see.
You know he's gonna be starting. Stop it.
James Washington.
Y'all signed him for a reason. start over James Washington.
That's what I'm saying.
So James Washington.
The guy that we drafted are probably. Well, he's
He
a
ain't
slot.
gonna. He ain't gonna start. I mean, this a veteran that y'all signed. He ain't gonna come in and start over James
Yeah, let
Washington.
me get James Washington's stats from the past. I remember I was high on. Well, I wasn't too high, but he was coming out. I know he was a highly touted prospect coming out of college, but he didn't do nothing in Pittsburgh, and then the only
Then
thing I like about him, he always wanted to be a Cowboy, so that's what I like about him. And he was a Cowboy in college.
Let me see the Cowboys depth chart anyway, because I don't even know who all the receivers is. So, Lamb, Gallup, Washington, Tolbert, Noah Brown. Who was that? I don't know that. For Hoko, I do remember him. Oh man, y'all got T.J. Vasher. I remember him. I don't know who Brian Smith is. Okay, yeah, he probably could make his way up the depth chart. It is. I don't think he'll pass up Washington of Tolbert, but unless you getting the old Justin Ross, the old Justin Ross gonna pass up everybody on his depth chart. I just don't think them days. I think those days are over.
He said old Justin Rose.
Yeah, old Justin Ross. Old Justin Ross would have got drafted in the first round.
Like James Washington, he had 392 yards last season, but he had 5 touchdowns. That's pretty good. The year before,
you saw how stacked that wide receiving core was.
the year before, he had 735 yards. That's pretty good. 3 touchdowns. So, no. Last year, no, that was the year before. So last year he had 285 yards, 19 yards a game, 2 touchdowns. So he didn't really. I mean, that's not nothing you get excited about. It's really not.
I don't think that offense was much to get excited about.
Let me see if he hurt. Was he hurt or was he just not productive?
No, he wasn't starting. He wasn't starting.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. It's not telling me. See. It looked like he played in 15 games. So yeah, I understand. Ben Roethlisberger wasn't what he was, and you got what? You got Deontay Johnson, and you got Claypool, and who else you had? It was him.
Hunter Johnson,
Deontay
Claypool, and Juju.
and Juju, yeah. So I want to give a shout out to my Cougars that was drafted in the 2022 draft. We had Logan Hall was drafted in the 2nd round. We had Marcus Jones drafted in the 3rd round, and Demarion Williams drafted in the 4th round in the NFL draft. Go Cougs!
All right, and that's the end of our show. Another episode of Keeping Up with the Boys. Peace.
Peace.